just start talking to you a little bit about the things that I'm working on this week. I don't know whether I'll get to doing this every week, but there's just so much going on at the moment, and I just feel Instagram's not enough to share all of that with you. So first of all, I just received a Modern Quilters box, so I've just done that unboxing video. Beautiful Alison Glass sunprint fabrics and purples, and a purple that I love, not this granny purple, and beautiful rainbow colours. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I love Alison Glass. I think it's outside of camera shot, but I've got a beautiful quilt up on the wall made from Alison Glass fabrics, and I just adore them. Other things that are going on, speaking of Alison Glass, I'm about to be on a blog tour for a fellow Aussie for hand stitching and tiny little hexagons, which, again, if you've been following me for any length of time, you'll know that that is just out of my comfort zone. So this is a result of a lot of hard work, but I'll be showing you more about that on the blog and Instagram as a couple of weeks' time, I think. So I finished, yay me. Other things that I've been working on is my Farm Girl vintage blocks, and finally got my scarecrow finished, and a little mini quilt one, and my peas and carrots, and a piggy done. And then these are all the other blocks that I've done that are going to go into my sample quilt. This is the book, the Farm Girl Vintage 2 book. Oh, excuse my finger, small rotary cutter accident this week. Luckily not very bad. There was just a little bit of blood, and I've got a Laurie Holt, well, I better not do that to you, a Laurie Holt Band-Aid on my finger. It makes me feel so much better. So the sampler quilt that I'm doing is a little bit different than the standard one that Laurie's doing. Let me show you if I can find a good picture of it. That's a better picture. So it's got this big, we call them utes in Australia, but big truck, and then lots of blocks all around it. So I've kind of rejigged the layout a little bit and worked out how many blocks I need to do for my quilt, and I've still got a few more to do, and of course I've still got the big truck one to do, so that'll be cool. Other things that I'm loving, Bloomington by Lella Boutique. I've got some pre-release in the shops, so in the shop. This is a gorgeous one. It's just got the most gorgeous greens and taupes, and then she gets into her favorite corals, peach kind of colors. They are just beautiful, and just beautiful flowers. And she's also popped in a few of the charcoal grays, which I just love with florals. Just makes them pop, makes them really good. And a little bit of the blue, very similar to the blue from Nest, which I adored. So that's in my shop, online shop. And there's this different substrate which I've still yet to go and find out what it is. It's not a canvas, but it is quite a bit thicker than the rest of the cotton, so keep an eye out for that one. Lovely. And the other week, well, other month, in the sampler box, I got this gorgeous dessert roll of these pinks and corals. And let me just show you a few of those. They were just stunning, and I've had them sitting on my desk. I didn't put them away because it came with this pattern called Straight and Arrow, and it's just been niggling in my brain, and I have a sneaking suspicion that as soon as I get a few spare moments, I am going to be cutting into these to make this one, and I might go and find a few more of those colours from my stash. Might have a few more of those colours in my stash, and make a slightly bigger quilt, because this one makes, I'm never going to be able to find that in a quick time, am I? It's only a reasonably small quilt, so yeah, it's only 42.5 inches square, so I want to make something a bit bigger. And it came with the 5-inch Creative Grids ruler, so that's coming up soon. And I don't know whether you get the emails from Art Gallery, but they announce all their new fabric releases and all the rest of it in their emails, and it had a link to the, I think it's Ballerina Fusion is the sort of new merged line that they've put out with different fabrics from the different designers. But in the lookbook was this quilt, and might be a bit hard to see because it's a bit of a light print on my printer, but absolutely stunning curves and just soft fluid lines, and I'm kind of itching to do that one as well. I don't have any of the Ballerina Fusion. Anybody want to send me some? I'd love some. But yeah, I think that one's going to be a good one to do. What else have I been up to? Oh my Lord, probably heaps of things. Still got a few of the Ruby Star Society fabrics in the shop as well. I think this is the last half yard bundle. This is Liana, so it's quite got some darks in it and a bit of metallic. It's kind of a copper metallic. I don't know whether you can see closely, but this is snails, and I've got to say I really love the snails. There's some lovely florals in there, a bit of black. Quite a few of the lines that came out from Ruby Star Society had a bit of black in them. Some giraffes, more snails, and then some of the grid fabric as well. That's the basics line that's coming out as well. So that was lovely. If nobody buys it soon, I think I might have to cut it up into some fat quarters and offer some different bundles, because that one's lovely. And what else? Oh, Aurifil. I don't know whether you've seen the, I think it's Fat Quarter Shop is doing a, with Aurifil, I can't remember what they're calling it, but you post a picture of a brand new spool of thread, and then at the end of March, I think it is, you specify, show all the things that you've managed to do with a spool of thread. I was really tempted, but I actually use a lot of spools of thread, lots of different colours, and cones up in the quilting studio and things like that. But what I'm about to release coming up very soon, as soon as I get some time on the computer, is make your own collection. So what this is going to do is the core, the standard, is these three very basic neutrals. A white, it's called chalk, it's an off-white, and that's what I use for all of my piecing, as well as a very, very pale grey. I use a lot of that for my quilting. So these three standard basic neutrals for all of your piecing comes in this beautiful storage case as well. And I'm going to do something kind of fun for the front as well. But basically then you have the option to go and add in some of the more pretty colours. You know, maybe some pink, some beautiful sage green, really, really pale green. Again, these are fantastic for quilting. I much prefer when I'm quilting to have colours that tone in with the quilt top, but don't stand out a heck of a lot. I like the quilting to be a secondary to your quilt. Your piecing, your fabrics that you've chosen, they're the ones that should stand out. Quilting should then come as sort of the second thing that people see. So I use a lot of these really pale kind of colours. So that's a lovely pale green. That's actually a pale blue. A little pale pink one. That one's lovely. This one, I actually don't know what Aurifil call it, but I call it Pink Lemonade. It's actually got little bits of pink, little bits of yellow in it. It's a variegated, and it just looks stunning on little baby girl quilts. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's one of my fallbacks as well. And then for, again, still quilting, but maybe some piecing as well. This lovely, I call it almost a denim blue. It's kind of a slate grey, but it's got blue tones in it. Goes well with all those chambrays and denims and things like that. Brown, surprisingly, how often I get to use a brown with quilting. And this one's not quite as pale as the 2000, which I think Kimberly from Fat Quarter Shop uses a lot. This one's just a slightly darker colour and looks fantastic on those beiges and sort of the Civil War kind of colours. Excellent ones. So you get your choices of adding in some extras, whether you do it at the same time as you buy the whole original neutrals, or whether you do that over time, but it's then a fantastic storage case that you can have in your sewing room. So coming soon, coming soon. I think that's about enough. Oh, except these Band-Aids from Laurie Holt. Have them in your craft room, and they come in the blue that I've got, which is little sewing machines. The red has a needle and a little heart. didn't want to use that. I thought that looked a bit too much like blood. Some pins, that's cute, and little scissors. So I've actually got some of these in my my little kit that I take when I'm going to classes and to retreats and things like that. So, but the first time I've had to use them. Anyway, have a great week. Ciao.